What's up out there, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning into your soul mapping astro weather report for the weekend of July 13th and 14th, 2019. I'm Thomas, and the astro weather report is where I synthesize aspects of astrology and the 64 hologenetic archetypes to give you a better idea of some of the energies that will be at play today, from the genetic all the way up to the cosmic levels. Well, this week,
it is the only consistent truth that there is, is our fault.
again, I feel is going to be in a lot of ways, kind of like a pause. Pause that will have tension and will also have like wisdom birthing out of it in a lot of different ways. As we come into next week, we have this big lunar eclipse in Capricorn, full moon lunar eclipse, and this is kind of a pause in this portal. We've been in the middle of this portal between these eclipses for some time. All these planets retrograde, amazing, powerful, transformative energies, been quite intense in a lot of ways. And this is a pause before this eclipse, this kind of tension that will be there in this pause, and then the eclipse is going to come through, and then we will be moving into some pretty big new chapters in our life. So it's an important little window that we have in this weekend, and really gain some reflection out of it. And there's some good things this weekend, definitely. For starters, we have the sun and the earth have moved down to the 62 and the 61. And this is all about, there's so much inspiring right now, so much truth being revealed from these deep places. Pluto's over there in Capricorn. It's conjuncting the earth now, and it's been going through this kind of like upheaval, sort of this purge of so many structures that just really aren't serving us. There's so much deep hidden stuff that's been coming out externally and also on an internal level about who we are too, especially on an internal level. It's all mirroring right now. And with so much stuff coming up from so deep and transforming so many pieces, and this is like, breaking ground on an old structure in a building or something like that, and there's things under there, right? There's amazing things under there. There could be old artifacts, there could be rocks and dirt, whatever it is. Who knows what's under that? What has been being revealed to you by breaking down these old structures over the past especially months that have been going on. And now, as we break that all down with the sun in the 62, there's these deep mysteries and truths and inspirations that have been revealed around who we are and where we want to go, and these new things that we've discovered out of nowhere. And now we're looking at the language that can actually house impeccably and with a lot of precision, that could actually provide a vehicle for that being that is desiring to be developed into something that can be shared with the world and provide us with more comfort, more stability, more emotional receptivity, and just something that's going to house who we are on into the future for some time. And the moon is making a great aspect today. It's going to conjunct Jupiter on the 5.5, but the 5 where Jupiter is all about timing and rhythms and cycles, and it's on the other side of the 15 when we're testing out these different extremes. But this is really about having a certain amount of patience, but also realizing that this weekend I feel like there's going to be some great things and connections that are going to come through. But there's also aspects of different things where we may have to learn how to be patient for, and certain aspects of these things I feel like are just going to make sense, and it's going to be like we understood, or we know, or we can see the cycles and how they're playing out, and that it's going to take time. And then other aspects of this are going to cause tension because the moon is making inconjunct over to inconjunct over to Venus. And this could be like where the timing in these cycles with certain things could actually provoke some aggression or just a lot of tension, because we're wanting to move forward on channeling this creative energy into the stuff that we really value now. And this tension can kind of cause this or these timings and things like that this impatience can really trigger us in a lot of ways. Now, we also have the moon that is squaring over to Neptune. So this could be like this sort of unique kind of pause that's here, really being where we can be sensitive to a lot of different things. We can be sensitive to the masks that people have that are showing up, or sensitive to really emotionally wanting to move into these more spiritual states, but there's that kind of challenges in still moving through some of these masks that we may have on around that. But overall, I feel like this is going to be great energy. Definitely a shift this weekend with the 61.1 and the 62.2 is the Earth starting to conjunct Pluto, really feeling like some things are starting to ground in, and maybe some different shifts and changes starting to come in through in our physical structures, or within our bodies as we start to move forward into these new directions. Mars is definitely coming off of this square that it's been on with Uranus right now, so we can kind of feel a little bit more calm and putting energy into these new things that are being revealed too, because Mars has moved on to the 33, and this is all about being mindful of things that are being revealed. So we want to be intentional and see what's coming through with that, because the sun will be on the 33 later, and then Venus is going to hit it. There's a lot of energy that's going to come through with this placement where Mars is right now, where we're wanting to take action on creating these new myths for ourselves and really being mindful of different things. And with the tension moving off the square with Uranus, Mercury has moved back in. It's moving in towards Cancer. Definitely this pause before Sunday. As we get into Sunday, the moon is going to come into Capricorn, and this is going to start to feel a little bit more difficult. And the moon's going to, of course, come into its conjunction with Saturn and Pluto as we get into Monday and Tuesday, and then we're going to have this eclipse, and that could feel like a lot more like there's some growing up to do, some maturity setting in some of these more maybe difficult situations, or just kind of, maybe some guilt coming in and things like that. And then we'll be moving into the eclipse, which I'll be talking about on Monday and Tuesday. But overall, I feel like a great weekend. Definitely feeling a shift in energy and feeling some great connections, and probably having some fun. And I feel like it's going to be a good time to really have some release and also some pause, and really pay attention to what's coming in for this eclipse. And so for this weekend, we have Gate 45, which is gathering together, the ruler. And this is all about being able to decide the direction of different resources. We may feel like in certain senses we have certain things to give in certain areas, and other areas that we don't, and really being able to see past sorts of territory or bloodlines or family things, really being able to go beyond this over feeling too much like we need control over certain aspects of our body, our environment, or things like that. We want to kind of release certain amounts of control this weekend, but also kind of like gather together our resources or certain things that we're going to need as we move forward into these new cycles, and really pay attention. We're going to want to drop into that inner kind of ruler or king or queen that we have as we step into these new cycles, as it may cause some sort of like tension and interesting things to come up with this powerful lunar eclipse we have on Monday and Tuesday. So hope this has been helpful for you. As always, tap into your innermost authority, see if it feels right for you, and thanks for tuning in to the Astro Weather Report.